Welcome back to the news at 10. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has restrained the House of Representatives and its principal officers from effecting any changes in the composition of its leadership. Justice Adetokunbo Ademola Adeniyi, in a ruling, ordered parties in a suit filed by the People's Democratic Party against the House of Representatives and some of its members to maintain status quo pending the hearing and determination of the suit. The judge, after a 4-hour argument challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the suit, elected to hear the substantive suit along with a preliminary objection filed by the defendants.
It was a continuation of legal fireworks as lawyers to the House of Representatives challenged the hearing of a suit seeking to stop the leadership of the House from effecting any change. After over 4 hours of argument, Justice Ademola, in ordering parties to maintain status quo, held that even when a court's jurisdiction to hear a case was being challenged, it has the power to decide whether or not it has jurisdiction. The defense team, which included Sebastian Hon, Mahmoud Magaji, Eric Apia, and Tairu Adebayo, prayed the court to first determine the objection against the court's jurisdiction before hearing the substantive suit.
Yes, we are still objecting to the jurisdiction of the court, and plaintiff's counsel did not apply for that, but the judge in his wisdom made that order that the status could be maintained in respect to the positions of the second to the 11th defendants. In other words, that the principal officers should not be changed while the matter is pending.
Lawyer to the plaintiffs, Yunus Usman, however, urged the court to either hear his motion for a interlocutory injunction before hearing the preliminary objection or hear both.
It is not preemptive. If you see the piece of evidence we are next to our affidavit, there are serious threats to remove all PDP principal officers. In fact, the threat was to be carried out on 13th. Fortunately, they didn't sit on that 13th. And you know, the position of the law is that if you smell any threat, you don't wait. It is just like you waiting for the hangman to put the rope around your neck before you say, look, I want to rush to court. By then it will have been too late.
Justice Ademola later fixed February 3 for hearing of both the defendant's preliminary objection and the substantive suit. He also ordered parties to file their written addresses before then.
First Bank, truly the first.
We're changing lanes now to talk business news. Here's Adeshawa Josh.
Well, thank you, Amarachi. Let's take you through our business stories at this hour. About 40 heads of state of government are arriving in Davos clusters, Switzerland, to attend this year's 44th World Economic Annual Meeting, which is taking place from January the 22nd to 25th, 2014. President Goodluck Jonathan will leave Abuja on Tuesday for the event, where he will lead efforts to attract beneficial global participation in this year's World Economic Forum on Africa, which will be hosted by Nigeria in Abuja from May the 7th to 9th. The president will have bilateral meetings with other participating heads of state and government, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, and also receive the chief executive of leading international conglomerates with interest in Nigeria before returning to Abuja on Friday. As the event gets underway, Channels Television will bring you up-to-date information on the development at the event. The World Economic Forum is expected to attract more than 2,500 participants drawn from politics, business and human rights groups, among others. Well, the National Nigerian Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has blamed the recent drop in gas supply for power generation on vandalism. At a press conference in Abuja, the group managing director of the corporation, Andrew Yakubu, says that over 30% of gas was lost at the weekend owing to the activities of vandals. Engineer Yakubu said the lost gas is equivalent to the requirements needed to generate about 1,600 megawatts of electricity. He listed pipelines involved, including Escravos Warri stretch of the Escravos Lagos pipeline system, the Transfocados crude pipeline, while the remaining loss is due to maintenance issues at the Torogo gas plant. In other news, a body of practitioners, the Southeast South professionals of Nigeria, have asked for effective implementation of the 2014 budget for proper economic development. This demand was made when the body hosted the coordinating Minister of the Economy and the Minister of Finance, that's Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, in Lagos. Our correspondent, Temple Ashaju, reports.
This gathering comprises experts from various fields who are keen about the implementation of the 2014 budget. Hosting the Finance Minister, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to derive some economic updates from, their major concern generated some answers.
First and foremost, it is an opportunity for the coordinating Minister for the Economy and Minister of Finance to interact and discuss with a cross-section of Nigerians the highlights of the 2014 federal government budget and her answers to the famous 50 questions by our Honorable House of Representatives members.
And for the minister, the difficulties of budget implementation last year generated less revenue. But this challenge is being prevented in 2014.
What has bedeviled our budget process often is lateness in presentation, lateness in approval, and therefore lateness in implementation. We can only implement to the extent that the revenue is also coming and we're able to curb expenditure. This economy created 1.6 million jobs in the last year. But remember, there's a stock of people who are not yet employed. So that's a problem. And also we need to create probably about 2 million plus jobs in order to meet the requirement of those coming in. You know, we are growing, but there's also growing inequality which we want to stop, and that also those at the bottom end of the ladder are not gaining as much, and we have to address it, and we are.
The fundamentals are not right, and we don't want to address the fundamentals. Let's go back, address our fundamentals, remove a lot of structural impediments. Let Nigeria be structured in such a way that you can be talking about sharing of oil money. Let us start creating wealth.
The crux of the minister's explanation at this event is that yes, the economy may not be so okay, but the current administration is working out its possible best to solve problems regarding job creation, inequality, as well as budget implementation in the country. I'm Temple Ashaju, reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's move over to the Nigerian stock market, where the first trading day of the week was characterized by profit-taking as the key index shed more than 0.6%. Nestle, Dangote Cement and Guinness led the laggards list. And here's Loretta Chiogo with today's closing figures.
Hello and welcome to Stock Market Report tonight. The bears resumed the week at the Nigerian equities market, reversing gains recorded on the last trading day of the previous week. The all-share index finished Monday's trade at 41,471 points, down 0.67%. Now, the market capitalization also finished lower at 13.28 trillion naira. Investors shaved off 9 naira 95 kobo from Nestle. Other price losers include market heavyweights Dangote Cement and Guinness. Orlando added 1 naira 10 kobo to its share price to lead other value gainers. Now, the three most actively traded stocks the first trading day of the week are NEM Insurance, UB Capital, and Transnational Corporation of Nigeria. At the end of the day, volume came in at 308.71 million units, valued at 4.52 billion naira, and transacted in over 5,000 deals. And that's it on Stock Market Report. I'm Loretta Chiogo.
Thank you, Loretta. That's Business News Tonight. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
First Stock, truly the first.
Still ahead on the news at 10, South Africa's Sports Minister Fikile Mbalalu lashes out at the Bafana Bafana, says he's unimpressed with their last outing with Nigeria's Super Eagles.